Hello everyone. I realise that this episode might sound a bit like an ASMR exercise, because I don't know if you can hear in the background, I've got some background music. You won't hear it just now because the song's just finished, but there's more music. Can you hear it? Don't know. But I'm recording this at, what time is it? Like 5 past midnight on the Friday the 5th of January when this episode's going to be released, and I'm by myself in the living room. Amy's upstairs sleeping, not doing the podcast with me because she's a shitebag. I said that quite quietly because not to wake her up, and the kids are also sleeping as well. So this is going to be a very weird episode of Hit the Wall to start off 2024, because I'm going to be talking to you very close to the microphone and very quiet as well. And I've also got some rather sexy music in the background. Very sexy indeed. So first of all, Happy New Year. Hope you have all had a fantastic Christmas and New Year period. Thank you to everyone who's watched the Christmas special once we fucking eventually got that released. Honestly, one of the things I'm going to do this year is learn how to podcast and learn how to do things properly, because I dive into things without even thinking about how exactly things are done. And that's exactly what happened with the Christmas episode. I thought I could record a whole hour's worth of, or an hour and 10 minutes worth of video in 4K on my phone, and there not be any problems with that. Don't know. I also bought some shit equipment from eBay to make the microphones work properly, and they didn't work either. So I'm genuinely going to spend this year properly looking at videos, looking at tutorials and stuff, and how to podcast properly, because it has been a shit show pretty much since like a few weeks into the podcast. There's been a lot of problems, which have been avoidable, not unavoidable. So yeah, that's what's going to happen this year. So again, Happy New Year to everybody. Hope we've had a great time. We had a fantastic time. It was so good. It was one of those where it was nice not to run about quite as much as we usually do, because usually we are, like on Christmas Day, we're usually at somebody's house. We're usually at my mum and dad's or Amy's mum and stepdad's house for dinner. But we decided to host this year. And let me tell you, I cook a fucking phenomenal Christmas lunch. I mean, to be fair, my mum and dad did cook the turkey, and they brought the turkey along, but I did everything else. I served it up, I done all the veg, I even done Brussels sprouts, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Brussels sprouts, I have slagged them off. I have never had a Brussels sprout in my life. That's a lie, I've maybe tried one at some point and then went and that's because psychopaths who just boil Brussels sprouts and then just dump them on a plate and eat them are just that. They're just psychopaths. So what I done was I took some Brussels sprouts. Amy was insistent that we get Brussels sprouts for Christmas Day. I wasn't up for it because the Brussels sprouts, they're shite. They taste like just tiny wet cabbages. But she decided to buy some anyway because it was only 13 pence in Tesco. And to my annoyance, I decided to cook them. But I googled how to cook them properly first. So what I done was, and this is, again, I'm going back to Christmas time, and I know it's a new year and we should be talking about other things, but I want to talk about Brussels sprouts, right? So I cut them in half and I oven baked them for 15 minutes, right? And then I fried them in oil, garlic, bacon and onions. Oh my god, they were so good. It wasn't quite the highlight of the meal. I think the honey roasted parsnips and carrots were the highlight of the meal. I might put a picture. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram at InstaShog is my Instagram handle. You'll see the photo. Did I post a photo actually? I can't check. If I didn't post a photo on my Instagram page, then I will post a photo on the Hit the Wall Instagram page of my Christmas dinner, because it looked phenomenal and it tasted phenomenal. In fact, it was that good. I genuinely didn't have that much turkey. I don't think I ate a lot of turkey. It was mostly just the veg and the sprouts and the tatties. Oh my god, it was the best Christmas dinner I've ever had, and I made it. I'm just saying, I am a god at Christmas dinner. And then like the wee gooch between Christmas and New Year, I was working. I was like, it was quite nice actually, because Aimee and the kids went to Amy's mum's on Christmas night, which left me to tidy up, which was no bad thing, because there was nobody in the house to distract me, nobody to ask me to play games, nobody to like just ask questions on or anything, just nobody to bother me. I tidied the kitchen, I tidied the living room, and I sat. It was like 7 o'clock at night, and I sat for about 3 or 4 hours. Had maybe 1 or 2 drinks because I knew I was working the next day. It didn't help because I was still hungover on Boxing Day. I watched rubbish TV. I think I watched The Masked Singer, which is, by the way, if you've not watched The Masked Singer, it's a fucking phenomenal programme. It's mental as fuck, but it's so good. And I watched the 1% Club, and then I went to bed at like 11 o'clock, and it was the perfect Christmas day. I really enjoyed it. It was so good. I kind of wish I wasn't working Boxing Day. As much as Boxing Day at work was quite fun, because we were playing loads of games and having a good laugh and stuff, it would have been nice to spend more time with the family on Christmas. But those 4 hours between Aimee and the kids going to Amy's mum's and me just sitting not doing anything on Christmas night after a mental couple of days that we'd had, it was so nice. So nice. And then what happened? Yeah, as I say, the sort of gooch time, 26th to the 30th, nothing really happened. I was working. And then it was New Year, and we went to the I keep getting the name of this place wrong, because I always call it the Railway Tavern, but it's the Railbridge Bistro in South Queensferry. We went there on Hogmanay with my mum and dad and Aimee and the kids. Phenomenal meal, really good. The only one complaint I will have, Railbridge Bistro, if you are listening, please do sponsor us, is your fish is too big. Your fish is fucking massive, and it's unnecessarily big. So much so that I had the fish and chips, my dad had the fish and chips, and my dad, who, and I'm sorry Dad if you're listening, but you are a bigger man, you're a slightly larger man than me, and that's not being horrible, that is just a fact. You struggled to eat that fish and chips as well, and I struggled as well, and we genuinely could have shared a whole, like just one plate to ourselves. The fish was that big, and I want to just put a little disclaimer out to restaurants out there: stop doing that. Just stop it. Stop making fish too big. You're ruining it, because you're just you're wasting food. That was 3/4 of a fish that could have fed some pescatarian. Is that the right word? Pescatarian. I want to say. I'm not sure. Could have fed one of those people that eat fish. Like for 3 meals. It was that big. It was like a bloody shark. But very, very good. And then we went to Amy's mum and stepdad's for the bells. That's when I recorded my little Happy New Year speech, which, disclaimer, I obviously recorded that on a lapel microphone, And I did say, I think, during the record that I was going to maybe use that for running in the future. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to be doing podcasts while running. It's just not going to be a thing. And I'll tell you for why very shortly. So, yeah, we went to Amy's mum's, stepdad's, played a game with the 1% Club. And by the way, if you know what the 1% Club is, good for you. If you don't know what the 1% Club is, Google it or watch some of the TV shows. It's a really fantastic TV show. We played a board game version of that, and I won. So I am the smartest person in my family in terms of myself and my in-laws and my wife. I am the smartest, and I think I'd probably beat mum and dad as well. I'm just saying I'm the smartest person in the family. I'm just putting it out there. So then we brought in the bells, and it was nice, and we had steak pie the next day, and now we're into a new year. And the new year is going to be mental. So, as you know, 2024 is the year that I'm going to be doing the marathon on 26th of May. I want to give a big shout out to a few people who are obviously going to be doing the half marathon as well on the same date. We've got Cara, we've got Michael, we've got Tara from my work as well. She's going to be doing the half marathon. If you are also doing the half marathon in Edinburgh on the 26th of May, give us a wee message and we will give you a shout out on the podcast. It's not an easy thing to prepare for. I have started my preparation now, and this is when we move on to the running start of the podcast, the running side of the podcast. I have decided to abandon all the running apps. I'm not going to be following a running app up to the lead up to the marathon. For a couple of reasons. Main reason is I am sick and tired of listening to the people on these apps because they're just boring. They're just one-dimensional, fucking almost AI designed weird people. Don't like it at all. So I've ditched the couch to 10k, couch to half marathon, couch to marathon apps. I'm not going to do that at all. What I am going to do is on the 2nd of January I done a 5k, and I ran it in, if you've checked the Instagram page, you'll see that I ran it in 36 minutes and 40 something seconds maybe. I done another 5k to use, it would be last night, Thursday night, and I ran it in 35 minutes and 35 seconds. I might put a wee post up today about it, just for all you stat fans really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gradually build up the distance, not the time, but the distance. So I'm going to do a week of 5Ks, and then I'm going to build up. There's a thing where people do, where they increase the distance by 10% every week. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to build it up by 10% every week, and then by the time the marathon comes, I'll be ready. I mean, I'm not going to run a marathon distance before the marathon. We've discussed this already on the podcast. It's a bad idea to run a marathon distance before the marathon. I'm going to keep that for the marathon date, but every week I'm going to build it up by 10%, I think. And I don't know how it's worked out. I've not worked out the maths yet. I don't know what distance I would be at the time before the marathon, but I reckon I must be quite close to the distance. I don't really know. So that is my plan. No more apps, no more interval training, and that's just the way I'm going to do it. And that's the thing. Like, if you're running a marathon, you've got to find your own way of doing it. Some people do like the interval stuff. Some people find that the interval stuff is more beneficial because you're building up to the runs. But once it's good for if you're doing a couch to 5k, I think, if you're doing the running, walking intervals. But if you're preparing for a marathon, you need to get used to running for a long time. So that's basically what I'm doing. I don't know how long I've done in this episode. I think I've done quite well to talk for this long. That's an advert on YouTube, so I've got to talk. I can skip that and get back to my royalty-free music. Just so I don't get sued. But it is on in the background, just in case people pick up on it and we try and get sued. But what you got to sue us for? We've got nothing. We've got like £5 in our Buy Me a Coffee website page thing. Nobody's really taking us up on that, but it's fine. If you want to support the podcast at all, then you can tip us. If you go to the website buymeacoffee.com/hitthewall, you can give us a little donation. We are at £5, and we can't. I may as well just tell you this just now, just as I don't know really why, but we can only really deposit or withdraw money, from the Buy Me a Coffee website if we make over £20, and we're at a £5 so far. So if you want to support us and keep the podcast going, if you're enjoying this chat, me sitting in the living room by myself talking to you, then you can visit us at buymeacoffee.com/hitthewall. Don't add the pod bit, it's just hit the wall, and you can tip us a £5, and if 3 of you tip us a £5, then we can withdraw that and buy something podcast related, probably cables, because and I don't mean to go on about cables, but our rabbit has chewed yet another one of our cables that we need for recording. So if anybody wants a rabbit, if anybody wants to buy a rabbit off us, and you can donate the money for the rabbit through the Buy Me a Coffee page, then that's the website, buymeacoffee.com/hitthewall. What we're going to do, I think, is we're going to end the podcast there, because I have run out of things to say. I'm by myself. It's not the same without Aimee. And I've just run out of things to say. So thank you very much for listening to this week's episode. Sorry it's a little bit shorter than normal, but I think we gave you over an hour of Christmassy goodness on the YouTube. By the way, if you're wondering at all where the Christmas special is on all the podcast places, it's not available on the podcast places, because I did put up a post about it, but the audio didn't work. The audio was completely goosed, and it was video only. We were only recording through the audio from my phone, which again was probably another reason why it took days and days and days and days and days and days and days to upload. So if you want to listen, or should I say watch the Christmas special, then you can watch it on the Hit the Wall YouTube channel. If you just search for Hit the Wall podcast on YouTube, it'll come up. It'll be the only actual video that we have. We've got like the podcasts and stuff up there as well, but it'll be the only actual video that we have up there. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. We will hopefully be joined by Aimee next week for another belter episode of the Hit the Wall podcast. Apologies again that it has been shorter than usual, but I think we've done pretty well. Take care of yourselves, and keep an eye on the Instagram page at Hit the Wall Pod. I'm posting a lot more regularly about the runs and stuff that I'm doing, building up to the marathon. If you're taking part in the marathon or the half marathon in Edinburgh on the 26th of May, then give us a wee message at Hit the Wall Pod. You can DM us on that page, or you can email us, which is hitthewallpod@gmail.com. And yeah, the Buy Me a Coffee website, buymeacoffee.com/hitthewall. Give us a wee £5 or whatever you can afford, but minimum £5, and we can keep this podcast going, and it might entice Aimee back next week. Thank you, and Happy New Year and good night.